So here's the sitch on the ATL box score today. We get into a lot of things that unpack and that happened this weekend. We first start off talking about the Golden State Warriors, their 2 back-to-back wins this past weekend. Then we talk a little Talladega. Also, too, we get into why Atlanta United has turned into a typical Atlanta sports team. Then we have a Joy to the World NFL Draft Edition. And then we round out the show talking about the NFL Draft and how it impacted the locals here in Atlanta. This is the ATL Box Score Podcast. You're listening to Atlanta's newest sports podcast, and you're listening to Recapping the Weekend. With starting a new podcast, people ask me all the time, Alex, where do you record your show at? Do you do it at your house? No, I don't do it at my house because of just a lot of different logistical factors. The place that I do it at is actually a place called Spaces, Midtown East. And Spaces is a co-working center where I get my show recorded and I get other work done. Co-working has been one of these new phenomenons in the private business sector that has popped up recently. And Spaces also has another brand called Regis, which is more of a professional brand. Spaces is more for creators like myself. But to tell you more about these special brands in the business world is Mr. Steve Choi.
Thanks, Alex. I appreciate those kind words. We absolutely love having you and ATL Box Score as part of our space. It's always great when we see you doing your work. But absolutely, Spaces and the Regis concept, we are both workplace providers here in the Atlanta area, but all around the world. We have over 250 Spaces locations worldwide, plus over 1,500 Regis locations. And what we're really here to do is just provide flexible options for any type of professional, whether you're an independent professional, creative, or if you're a large or small business. So we have several different types of options from small to large and memberships, part-time, full-time. So definitely come on out and check us out. Go ahead and look at the link on Alex's site and ask for Steve Choi. And if you ever come into one of our locations, let us know that Alex sent you or ATL Box Score, and we'll go ahead and set you up with a free 5-day test drive.
Yeah, you can't beat that 5-day test drive. In those 5 days, you will know if Spaces or Regis is the right brand for you. And Spaces is all over the place. They're a little bit more limited, but they're in the main areas of the city. The one we are is right in the heart of Midtown, near the Fox Theater. There's one at the Battery. There's going to be one opening up North Point Mall there. And there's also a location in Colony Square. So they are all over the metro area. At just about any major business building in the Atlanta area has a Regis in it. So just Google them. But Spaces and Regis and Steve Choi in particular is your place to do your business.
In the Braves' favor.
They did it to us last night. Why don't we do it to them today?
Like it. Hit high in the air. Deep right field. Blackman is back. Track wall. Goodbye.
A 3-run blast by Donaldson. And the Braves are back out in front with their 4th home run of the day.
And Sungwon is saying, oh, no. So more 9th inning.
So that was the home run in the 8th inning, grand slam, by the way, that put the Braves in the lead, got them out of another potential sweep by the Rockies by Josh Donaldson. And that's what the Braves brought him in for, to have clutch moments like he had yesterday afternoon. I mean, I thought the Braves were probably going to get swept again, but to their surprise, Josh pulled them out of a hole.
Well, that's what they do.
Right. Well, thank you guys for joining us with this is our recapping the weekend show. I'm Alex Berger. Alongside me is Steve Choi. Steve, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man.
Great Monday to come into the office, right?
Oh yeah. Great weekend. Dubs won Friday. Dubs won Sunday. Can't ask for anything better than that. Great race. Talladega was awesome.
Right.
It's a fun weekend, man. And Josh Donaldson has a Bay Area tie too. He used to play for the Oakland A's.
That makes sense.
Yeah, buddy.
Well, he used to play for Toronto too. So
yeah, he went to Toronto after the A's. Came up with the A's, was part of that big young club that actually made it to the playoffs a few years, and they kind of broke them all up.
I think it's funny. You were probably watching the things I weren't, because I was watching the draft on Saturday.
Still.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like,
well, like what round is it?
Well, I mean, it like the draft's nice to do when you're like doing something, and I was working on work.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like it's something nice to, or it's entertaining to put on the TV while you're working. It's one of those things that it's like it can be that that outside noise that you need.
Sure. Like that white noise.
That white noise. Yeah, because I'm one of those people I can't really be strapped into like a room that we're in right now and
gotcha.
Just hammer away at it.
Gotcha.
When there's no people around, I need some sort of distraction, and then I focus that way. But that's just me.
Yep.
But did you think though? Were you worried at all? Did you think that there was going to be fatigue involved with the with the Warriors, because they had to play Friday night, and that game was somewhat close at the beginning of the game. But were you worried about any fatigue going on?
Yeah. I mean, not only was there fatigue that there was to be concerned with, it was also Friday night. Both Steph and Klay Thompson had ankle injuries. So, the thing about it is I definitely was concerned. I mean, it's like, not only did you play a big game Friday night, you got to go back. The good news, it was in LA, so they didn't have to travel too far back home, and then get some rest, get some treatment, and then get ready for this game, which, you knew this game was going to be a super competitive game, and it was hyped up. So I think, if I'm being honest, we probably stole one right there. So Rockies had everything going for them. They had come to the Bay like extra early, even before the Warriors had closed out the Clippers. But it also tells me that we're all up in their head too,
Yeah, it's like if you have to come to an away, if you want to go on the road,
right? Extra early,
to I guess to get regulated or to get used to, the surroundings when they were in like when the team they were gonna play was in LA.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, here's the the thing about it, it's not like these guys take coach or fly coach to all these areas. If I were Houston, I would just stay at home and then came when I found out when we were going to play. Like, what's the big deal? Like, but I guess they wanted to get acclimated to the Bay Area time zone or something. I don't know.
I think it's kind of smart from the standpoint, because, usually, like, with a playoff scenario, you usually, or at least, like, I guess they just didn't want them to be waiting around and getting lazy and stuff. So I guess that's another thing too, that it's like usually with these playoff games that it's like you usually wait 1 or 2 days on the road.
Right.
And I guess they just wanted to keep them in that rhythm. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Hey, I don't know. I guess it didn't work. So it's a moot point at the. But hey, you know, it was a good game. It was competitive. You know, I think the game one is always a feeling out game where everybody's kind of like, all right, and then getting used to going from one team to another. Here's my thing. I mean, whoever wins this series, you know, hats off. I'm not worried about it. I mean, obviously I have skin in the game, so I just want to see some really awesome basketball. I still feel like Steph Curry is not quite playing to his caliber, but they're doing a good job shutting him down, getting him in foul trouble, all these other things. Last night, Draymond Green stepped it up, man. So a lot of different things, but it was a good game overall. I enjoyed my time.
That's good. That's good. What do you think is going to be more competitive? The series with the Rockets right now or a potential series with the Nuggets?
Oh, definitely this Rockets series is going to be – there's just so much pressure on this game. Like, all eyes are on this game, you know. I think on both sides. I mean, you got the Rockets who are feeling like, oh, yeah, we need to prove ourselves. And then you have the Warriors who are like, we also need to prove ourselves because last year they said it was a fluke. You know, Chris Paul got injured and such and such. So I think I don't even know if, to be honest, if Denver is going to make it past Portland.
Really?
I think that's counting your eggs before they hatch with that one.
If you guys play Portland in the Western Conference Finals, that should be a 4-game series.
No, I disagree. Portland is hot, man.
You think Portland's hot?
Dame Lillard is just, well, Portland, they've took a couple games from the Warriors this season, but again, the regular season doesn't count, but they've got some serious threats, man.
The regular season does count.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, you win or lose to
right.
That doesn't
it's
necessarily
that doesn't project a playoff series.
Right. But they're good. I mean, Portland's good. They're probably, I mean, they're full of confidence right now. If they sweep the Nuggets or they do really well with the Nuggets, they're coming in with a full steam of, full head of steam, you know?
Yeah.
Now, what was interesting was Boston taking down the Bucks.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty interesting.
By 22, no less. On the road.
Right. So
that's going to be an interesting series. I want to watch. That one's probably super intriguing to me.
Some NBA people want to see a Warriors-Bucks finals.
Sure. I mean, that makes sense.
Which I think that would probably be like the best matchup right now, looking at the league as a whole.
I wouldn't mind seeing Warriors-Sixers matchup. Just because I hate the Sixers. No, I spent some time in Philly.
Gotcha.
But also, the Warriors originally started in Philadelphia.
Interesting.
And moved west.
Hey, there you go. You learn something new every day.
That's right.
I just don't see Philly getting out of this series with
Toronto.
With Toronto.
Toronto's they're
Toronto's trying to knock on that door, but we'll see when they play the Bucks.
Well, they got rid of they traded DeRozan Rosen for Kawhi Leonard in the offseason, and everybody says Kawhi Leonard's on loan because this is last year before free agency, and obviously he didn't want to play for the Spurs anymore. So, hey, they already had a solid team. Mm-hmm. And they just add someone like Kawhi Leonard to that team, and it's like pretty crazy. Plus, they put some additional pieces on there that really make them scary. So, you're right. I mean, to me, Eastern Conference Finals, I would love to have seen, if things played out right, I would love to have seen Milwaukee versus Toronto. I think those are the two teams in the East.
Yeah.
And then the Warriors versus the Rockets. But unfortunately, the Rockets didn't couldn't sew that up, that number 3 seed.
Right. You also watched Talladega,
Oh yeah,
which is something I didn't watch.
Talladega. I want to go to a Talladega race one year. They have like the most fun. So it's sort of like, you know how you were telling me about how the Florida Georgia game is like the world's largest cocktail party.
Yeah.
I gotta imagine.
What is it like? The world's largest redneck fest at Talladega?
Whoa. Pretty much, but I bet that it's pretty competitive in terms of how big that party is. But it's a huge event. Talladega is one of the most watched, most highly anticipated races, because it's like, you know how it's just the big. They always call the big one, which is the big wreck.
Yeah.
So both at Daytona and Talladega. And this was the first year that Talladega didn't have what they call restrictor plates. And restrictor plates, for those of you who don't know, what's interesting, again, I'm the one from the Bay, but I'm probably the most redneck of us two. So,
Really?
Including my social clubs.
That secret society that you go to during the weekends,
right? So,
or you, where you fix local elections.
Yeah, right. So put it this way, I drink Miller Lite, and Alex drinks these fancy beers. But anyways,
fancy beers.
Yeah.
You think Blue Moon is fancy?
That's
You think
super fancy.
You think Michelob Ultra is fancy?
Ultra is a fancy version of a redneck beer, but yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna go with these pale ales.
Yeah.
It's just ugh.
Well, anyways, but yeah, Talladega.
I like taste. I like
price.
I don't like watered down.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So, anyways, perfect. But yeah, what I was saying was, Talladega is a big restrictor plates. So Talladega is what they call
what are restrictor plates?
Talladega is
getting there.
Talladega is a super speedway, which means this speeds are faster than any of the other tracks other than Daytona. So, and it's designed that way. So because it's so fast, it's super dangerous. So what what NASCAR decided to do was create restrictor plates to do two things: limit the speed, but also limit the ability for cars to get away from one another. So
are they like speed bumps?
No. They're like, what they do is that they limit their plates on the car that limit the amount of air that can come in. So, anyways, needless to say, what happens is with restrictor plates, there's what they call pack racing, which means everybody's racing in a pack. And so they just do that because they know that there's going to be an accident. And so it's entertaining.
Wow.
I mean, it's entertaining because everybody's competitive, but it's also entertaining.
You're willing to risk lives for an entertaining car pileup.
Hey, I guess this is what they do in the South. So yeah, man. But it was a fun race. Chase Elliott, local Georgia driver, Chase Elliott. He's from Dawsonville.
Right.
His father is Bill, and they call him Awesome Bill from Dawsonville.
I remember you said that.
Yeah.
You told me that one time.
They ring a bell whenever one of them wins. So Chase Elliott, his son,
that bell's ringing?
It was ringing, man. This is a good day in Georgia.
Yeah, Dawsonville. So
cheers. So Chase Elliott won. It was a great race. A lot of good wrecks. Couple cars ended up on the roof.
Any fatalities?
No, man. There hasn't been a fatality in NASCAR in a long time.
That's good.
Yeah. No, they did. They do.
Dale.
They've done some really good things with keeping those cars as safe as they can be. But when you're driving any kind of vehicle 200 miles per hour around a track, sometimes it is what it is.
Right.
That's why those guys, those drivers, crazy.
I bet they are.
You got to be like fearless to drive that car. Because these cars aren't like your street cars. You know what I mean?
Well, they've been doing this since they're 9 years old.
Yeah, but the fact is they've also crashed a bunch of times. Look, let me tell you, I had an accident when I was a kid. I was like 17. And I didn't want to drive for a while after that. I was like, ugh. Ended up on the side. Did like a 360 in the air.
Oh, man.
It's like Dukes of Hazzards.
Dang.
But anyway, it was a good weekend, man.
That's good. I'm glad you...
It's a good sports weekend for us.
It was a good sports weekend. You had the draft.
Mm-hmm.
You had the Braves not getting swept.
That's right.
Your team took care of the business they needed to take care of.
Right.
Also, Atlanta United won.
Exactly.
And we're about to get into that next. Not
That's
necessarily
awesome.
about the game, but about something else that happened. So with that, we are going to get into some Atlanta United talk.
There we go.
Depending on how much we talk about this subject, we might pepper in some Atlanta Braves talk. Even though we really didn't do that Josh Donaldson clip justice, I don't feel like. Because I'll say this with the Braves, and we can talk about this a little bit later. But I feel like with the Braves right now, Steve, that when it's good, it looks really good. Yeah. And when it's bad, it just looks bad.
Well, again, it's early in the season.
It is, it is early in the season.
I mean, I personally, I'd rather have the team showing that they're an offensive threat, more than not being able to hit, because obviously, pitching, hopefully those guys dial it in, right? But there's all kinds of trades in the mid-season trades and that can impact the pitching. What you can't fix, if the guys' bats aren't connecting, then that's a whole other story. So the good news is that they're doing their thing offensively.
Right, they're getting...
8 runs in a game is crazy.
It is.
Especially
it is.
NL.
Yeah. So, but before we save those thoughts, because I like what you're going with this.
Sure.
Atlanta United this weekend, they won... I just had that tab open. Yeah, Atlanta United, they won 1-0 over the Colorado Rapids, and a good win at home. This is the first win this year that they won inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Really?
Yeah, it was. But there was something off that we're not used to seeing with Atlanta with Atlanta United. And I'm not talking about Jose Martinez's temper tantrum that he threw on the bench. I'm talking about that now Atlanta United looks just like a regular old Atlanta sports team. Because I looked, and I'll admit I didn't see the game, but it's like I looked at the highlights of that Joker. There were more red seats than there were people in the stands. I mean, it looked, and I'm pretty sure it was one of those games where they roped off the upper deck like we saw when we were there. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're because you're not going to draw that many people to a soccer. You're not going to fill that stadium up all the time, but
sure.
But at least you're going to fill out the rest of the stadium.
Right.
But man, that thing looked like a Falcons game.
Yeah, it did.
Seeing all those red seats and everything like that. And I told people, and I've been telling some people that bring up Atlanta United, bring up their fan base and how they come out for all the games and everything like that. Which it's been, don't get me wrong, it's been cool. It's been somewhat inspiring to know that it's like when you get one of these teams rolling, so like the Falcons, the Braves, that it's like you're gonna have that fandom.
Right.
And I think too, it was just new for everyone to get behind, since it was a new team, that you had that fandom in place. But at the same time, we talked about on the show, we talked about the fans complaining. We talked about that they're not satisfied with this rebuilding year, because that's pretty much what we are at right now with the play on the field with Atlanta United. They are in a rebuilding season, just from the standpoint that they got a couple new players that are extremely talented, but at the same time, running a new system just takes time.
Yeah, especially with soccer.
Right, especially with soccer, to develop. But I remember people saying that it's like, oh my gosh, Atlanta United is selling out every game and everything. Yeah, everything is.
Yeah, where are all those fans at?
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, I told people, I was like, just wait and see what happens. I even called Atlanta United the Fad.
Wow.
Because that's exactly what they were their first year.
Yeah.
And I know this city. I know how people can react. That there are a lot of other things that you can be doing besides going to a soccer game.
Mm-hmm.
But people treat it like it was a big party.
Mm-hmm.
Now I feel like me and you can easily get into these games because I'm pretty sure the ticket prices have gone extremely down.
I'm wondering if there was like a big Dungeons and Dragons festival or something that took place.
You know what I think it was?
What?
I guess the cinema took all the Atlanta United fans.
End Game.
The End Game. Yeah. That's my opinion.
I agree.
But
because those are usually the same people who go to Atlanta United. So what they should have done was like,
I'm sorry if we offend you or anything like that. This is just our opinions, but we love putting people in boxes.
What would have been super cool is after the game, if they said they would have had a free screening of End Game on the big screen.
I don't know if they could get that.
They would have packed the whole house.
They would have.
Either that or have like a Harry Potter signing. But no.
But I heard though that it's like that movie Endgame, just by the way, is like 3 hours long.
Yeah. So there you go. That's how long a soccer match is. So they probably were at the.
So that's like 6 hours.
Yeah, there probably would have been fun though.
That's like a part-time job work.
Are you gonna go watch Endgame?
I will eventually.
Yeah.
I'm probably trying to.
When it gets cheaper.
I'm thinking about going this weekend.
Oh, nice.
Because I'm kind of just like, I'm seeing all these things. All my friends have seen it and everything.
Yeah.
They don't really talk about the movie.
Yeah.
One of my friends said it's like, and I'm not going to mention who it is because he's on the show, said it's like, you need to be prepared to cry.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly my sentiment with
oh,
that.
Boy. Here we go.
But still, that it's like, and I've been saying this too. I've been saying this, Steve, that it's like the Thrashers when they came here.
Right.
The Thrashers, it was new. It was somewhat exciting, even though hockey has a lot of American base here, since this is still a transplant city.
Sure.
You can still have hockey allegiance elsewhere if you live here. But they had decent crowds at those Thrashers games those first couple of years. Yeah. Granted, they didn't really do that much on the ice, but and I tell you, this is what happens with new sports teams.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. They better get all they can get out of the Falcons, because in the next couple of years when Matt Ryan starts waning and the team starts to go back into that rebuild mode, it's not going to be fun.
No, well, that was this past year, was in a rebuild mode.
Oh, that's what they say, but
it wasn't supposed to be, but it ended up that way.
Yeah, try experience a real rebuild mode. Go ask Cleveland.
I mean, I feel like mid-season is when we should start seeing Atlanta United get back to be what.
When is their mid-season? How long is their season, by the way?
It starts in March and goes all the way to
like January or something.
The first weekend, the regular season goes all the way to the first weekend in October.
Wow,
I know, that's a lot of soccer.
It's like baseball.
It is kind of like baseball. but this is like longer.
So they got a lot. Oh, yeah, ways to go then.
Right. And then the playoff. Then if you get into the playoffs, because following them this year, you get into the playoffs, that goes the rest of the fall. So literally, like, it starts at the beginning of the year and goes all the way to the end of the year if you make it to the MLS Cup, because the MLS Cup is in December.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I can't, I don't know if I'll ever go, just because our experience when we went was such an awesome experience. I don't know if I could ever sit in the regular seats anymore.
That was my thinking too.
I mean,
how can I go to Mercedes-Benz Stadium when I've been up in the press box and in the suites?
I mean, we were literally behind the goal in one of the suites.
And then we had another one where we got to go up to.
And then we got to go to the second one. We had 2 suites that game that we could go ahead and watch from different vantage points.
There was some good brisket that no one even touched. It was so sad.
Oh, so good. So good.
So good.
So good. That Jameson was good too.
I was on the that dessert they had in there. Oh my gosh, with the pecans and everything like that.
Yeah, man. They
if Dave can make that, I'm just like,
they take care of their people.
Man, that dessert thing was good. So if you ever had the chance to go into a suite, which actually, speaking of a suite too, this is where the Falcons are losing money because the suites that we were in are so high in price that no one wants to pay that much.
Exactly.
So we definitely should be grateful for our experience, buddy.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we can.
I mean, it's a great stadium.
It was.
It's a great team. I mean, they won last year. I don't know why people aren't coming
They're
out to
just
watch.
looking like a regular Atlanta sports team right now.
Yeah, they've been brought down a notch. No one expected them to do what they did.
Right.
And now they're kind of like, eh.
No one expected that there would be sellouts.
Right.
Especially when they played at Georgia Tech.
Right.
And now we're just like, it's kind of, I feel like we're in an era too where people just get spoiled very easily. And then once they've been spoiled and you take something away from them, they act like immature children. When it gets down to it. When there's a level of expectation, and now that expectation has been taken away, or that expectation isn't there anymore.
It's going to be interesting.
I mean, they missed out. Those diehard fans. Where are those diehard fans?
They'll be back. They'll be back someday.
I guess they went to see the End Game.
That's what I said. End Game, buddy.
I wonder how many. Speaking of End Game too, I wonder how many people took the thing that. I don't know if you saw this on Facebook, but I saw this on Facebook that they had like the cast go, "Don't ruin the
don't spoil it.
Don't spoil it."
Yeah. No, I don't know.
And I was like,
but
I was like,
go ahead.
wow.
I'm going to predict some things.
What are you going to predict?
Some people die and some people live.
If you had a choice between going to this Atlanta United game and going to the End Game, we want to hear about that in the comments section.
Yeah.
We want to hear what your decision making was, what your rationale was.
I definitely want to know.
Because you can see that movie anytime.
Yeah, but at the same time.
A couple of my friends might go down to Morrow, Georgia.
Why?
Because they have an IMAX there.
Ah.
And for IMAX ticket, like if you get it up in like AMC North Point, it's like $15. I mean, it's like $20-something.
Yeah.
But in Morrow, you can get it for $15.
But then you have to drive tomorrow, though.
You have to drive tomorrow.
So what is that worth?
Those are some of my friends. Some of my friends want the optimal viewing experience.
Okay. Well, the good news about a long drive, I mean, Morrow's not that far, but it's far enough.
It is far enough.
Yeah, but
especially
the good news about that drive is they get to geek out about the show together on the way back home.
True.
Like, this is how the conversation will be on the way back. So, did you see that? No, I was just sitting next to you the whole time. No, but did you see that? Did you see how that happened?
Oh, they'll drop those one-liners and
No. Yeah.
no. These are the type of friends that'll actually like. What they'll do is after like one of these movies would come out and everything like that.
Yeah.
They would stand outside the theater in a circle and just talk about it.
Whoa. Are they going to be wearing costumes?
No. My friends aren't the costume wearing type.
Well, that's good.
So
That's good.
but
At least there's that.
yeah, at least there's that. But yeah, like I said about the Braves, it's good when it's good, and it's bad when it's bad. I like the point that you made though about the having guys that can hit, and obviously like right now that's what you need. Luke Jackson, I feel like, is coming along as a decent closer, but he's still young. Vizcaíno, with that injury that he had, man, that was just a killer. It was like losing Freddie Freeman a couple of years ago. So
Yeah, absolutely.
So hopefully, by the way, too, the Braves are about to go on the road this next weekend. I'm trying to pull up the schedule right now. So, buddy, that's good news for you.
Oh, yeah.
Since you drive home.
This week they're all here, and I'm like, ugh.
But no, they go on the road against the Marlins on Friday. Let me make sure. Love it. Pulling up information. Oh shoot, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, they go on. So where are we at? Yeah, I think they play San Diego at home. And then they go on the road to the Marlins in Los Angeles, then to Arizona. So.
Well, I am grateful for that.
Yes, you're grateful for that, for your commute, because Steve lives actually over in Smyrna, and he has to go down one road or the other, but he likes going down. You like driving around the Battery for some reason. I don't know why.
The Battery is a faster route to get to where I want to get to. Cumberland is currently has some construction on the roads, and then there's this one lane where you turn left that just takes forever. So there's always a method to my madness, buddy.
I got a random call. Okay. So with that, we are going to get into a Troy to the World next. This is a segment we haven't had on the show in a while, but I'm glad that it's back. And we're going to get into a Troy to the World. So, Steve, what do you got for us today?
Oh man, I got something that's really interesting that you'll love. So you know how I was talking about like who watches the NFL draft?
Well, it was enough it was enough people that just shut down the main street in Nashville.
Right. It was actually a record crowd that turned out in Nashville.
Nash Vegas.
You know, yeah, right. And so apparently, there's at least a few people who didn't know what the draft was about, and that was some young bachelorettes that were having a bachelorette party.
Oh, really?
Planned for that weekend in Nashville, because Nashville is a spot. For all of you guys that don't know, don't sleep on Nashville.
Yeah.
Because Nashville is a real cool.
It seems like it's kind of like the Las Vegas of the South, sort of. Except there's no
You think so?
gambling.
Think so?
I mean, it's just like if you live
like
here,
bright lights and stuff. Or
well,
whatever.
like if you live here in the Southeast, that's like a fun getaway place.
Right.
That you might live.
Whatever happens in Nashville stays in Nashville.
But you know, like the West Coast, they have like the Las Vegases
Yeah.
or Napa or whatever. That it's like here in the South we have Asheville
and Talladega,
Nashville.
and don't forget.
You mean so that's Talladega's more like the redneck Riviera.
Anyways, so this girl planned her best friend's bachelorette party, and was so upset that she tweeted that the NFL ruined their bachelorette party because they basically shut down the whole city.
What?
Yeah. And so here's my thing. First of all, she said she was planning this for like a year.
A year, really?
So did you not happen to realize that the city was going to be... Now, granted, I didn't go to the draft, but, I would imagine she could have had a good time. A bachelorette party at an NFL draft thing, I think she probably would have a great time there. What do you think?
It depends. It depends if you're a sports person.
But they closed down the bar, so the bar that I guess they wanted to go to...
they closed down all the bars.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
They shut it down. So basically, wherever she thought she was going to go, she didn't... because people, when they plan stuff, they think, oh, that bar is always going to be open, right?
Right.
So they don't actually consult with the bar. Like, you guys got anything going on that weekend?
I've had a bunch of those incidents.
But here's the deal. Here's the thing.
What's the thing, Steven?
Here's the thing. Okay. So it's a bachelorette party. Okay. Here's the thing. That party could have been moved anywhere, any place, really quickly.
Really? Like Myrtle Beach.
Right. They could have gone to Atlanta.
They could have, yeah.
And
nothing going on down over here.
No, there was nothing. I mean, they could have gone to an Atlanta United game.
Speaking of Atlanta, too, there's just one thing you don't do during Labor Day weekend.
And let's go downtown.
Let's go downtown unless you have to.
Yeah.
I
leave Atlanta on Labor Day. I go against traffic. I see everybody else coming in. I'm like, oh, man.
Remember that one time you took me down to the airport and it's like we turned down one street and there was a bunch of people. Like there was like a,
yes.
like a herd of costume people. Like,
yeah,
you were like,
for Dragon Con. Yeah.
Yeah, you were like, crap.
Yeah. I was like, oh, boy. So yeah, you definitely don't want to do that. Atlanta is like, but anyway, she could have gone. If they, what I would say is this: that girl, she was probably the maid of honor,
right?
Planned that. She should get demoted to like second bridesmaid. Like
how can
like
you
second
be
to the last.
So arrogant that you don't like Google it or you don't check what's going on this weekend?
I have no idea. People are always in their own bubble.
Right. True.
And they don't ever think, oh, well, there's actually something that could be going on that weekend.
Right.
Other than this all-star bachelorette party, which I want to know what her plans. What I really want to know, Megan, if that's her name. What I really want to know, Megan, or Courtney, or Winter. What I really want to know is like what was on the itinerary.
Really? Like what was on the itinerary?
So was it a little woo? We're gonna go to the bar for a little bit and do a couple of shots and
probably, yeah,
and go dance with your,
get on that like thing where you like which is like a bar, but you all have to like pedal like the one of those things.
God.
One of those things.
Yeah, they have one of those in Talladega.
Oh, they've had one outside of our office a couple of times during the weekend.
Right. The trolley
thing.
Yeah, where you got to pedal, you got to do some work. I have some stories about that. But anyways, yeah, what are you gonna do? So what you should do, what I would ask this woman to do, is tell us everything that would have happened, so we can now determine, did the NFL draft actually ruin your event? Or could you have just because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Some people go to London and get married because they want to go get married on that the London Eye carousel.
I've never heard of that before, but yeah.
Oh no, it's a big deal.
Oh, it's a big deal
for
really.
Americans. For Americans. I actually, one of my friends from California got married in one of those things.
Also, it's also a big deal for Americans to get a picture of Meghan Markle's baby.
Okay, so my whole thing is this. Okay, so to me, that would have sucked if that guy went to London to get married on the Ferris wheel thing, the London Eye,
and then they said it's closed for construction.
They're doing some sort of draft. And he's like, but I planned my whole wedding here.
Did you hear? I mean, did it say in the article where that woman was from? I mean, I read the article too, but I couldn't remember.
It didn't say where she's from.
That's something I would want to know. Is she from Atlanta? Is she from
down the street?
Montgomery. I mean, like where are you from? First of all, second of all, an audible choice. I feel like for Nashville. I don't know how crowded it would have been this weekend, but I'm thinking for an audible choice, you could have gone to the Gaylord. Yes, that's the actual name.
Okay.
The Gaylord Resort by the Opry, because the Opry is not in downtown Nashville.
Gotcha.
The Ryman Theater, where they would have the Opry stuff, is, but the actual Grand Ole Opry, that's the main attraction in Nashville, is actually outside of the city, kind of like the Cobb Energy Center.
Yeah.
So right next to that is a Gaylord Resort. And man, that thing is awesome. It's a hotel inside of like you think you're in Disneyland.
Yeah.
Because it has like a river that goes right down the middle of it, and it has all these restaurants and bars and shops and everything like that. And guess what? It's all air conditioned in there.
Oh, nice.
So you could have done all that stuff in one place.
Yeah.
In air conditioning.
That would be awesome.
I think that would be like a strong audible for all the things that just couldn't do for the draft.
Hey, at the end of the day, good news is the lesson now for this bachelorette is make sure she knows what's going on her weekend of her wedding, because
Google Nashville events April 25th through the 26th.
Right, and we'll see. So
I'm surprised if maybe this woman is single, because if she had a boyfriend, maybe I'm doing.
You're talking about the maid of honor who planned the
who planned the thing.
Right.
If she had like a boyfriend or a husband, she'd be like, I don't think that's such a great idea.
No, they're probably like, can I come?
What man would ever want to come to like a bachelorette party thing weekend? Oh my gosh.
If you're not part of it.
Oh, they would get super jealous too. Oh yeah. Because of all those things, they always get super flirty. Every one of them.
Well, yeah, but that's a choice to the world. I mean, it wasn't. I'm not insensitive. I mean, this is a woman's bachelorette party. But the great news,
I just couldn't stand the arrogance though. I can't stand arrogant people.
Yeah.
That don't plan ahead or don't research.
Well, these are self-centered people who think the world revolves around them.
Right.
So as soon as they this is what I'm wondering what may have taken place. As soon as they started getting in their car and they realized it took 4 hours to get into Nashville, could they have then by chance looked up and said, "Hey guys, this might not be a great idea.
Let's go to Huntsville instead and look at the Rockets."
What's Memphis looking like right now?
That's a drive though.
Okay, so
let's go to Hunts Vegas.
How about this? What's Louisville looking like right now? It's only a couple more hours from Louisville, Kentucky. That's where everybody wants to have their bachelorette party. Louisville, Kentucky, home of the Louisville Slugger and Papa John's.
I really want to ask one of my good female friends. It's like, is Nashville like? Because apparently right now it's the place for that type of stuff.
It is. I've had so many friends. Even I have friends from New Jersey that travel down to Nashville.
Really?
For their little parties.
So it's starting to become like a party town.
Apparently. I mean, hey.
I mean, for where we are right.
It sounds like we need to go take a trip to Nashville, buddy.
The Dogs play there their first game. I'm thinking about going to that.
Oh, okay.
They have to play the Vanderbilt, which usually you can get a ticket. So
it's not sold out?
Oh no, Vanderbilt never sells out.
Wow.
It's one of those places that it's like it's the other You see more of the other team if it's like an Alabama, Georgia,
Sweet.
Tennessee.
So what do you spend the night up there, or you just go for the game and head back home?
It depends on where the game is, but usually
Is it how far is it from Nashville, the actual city? Is it like right outside?
The Vanderbilt, the campus?
Yeah.
The campus is right in the city.
Oh, cool.
It's kind of like Georgia State or Georgia Tech.
Well, yeah, that might be a great game to go to.
Right. But it's a lot nicer of a campus than both those schools.
Yeah.
So because
Georgia State
private,
doesn't even I can't even tell that there's a campus.
Oh, it's one of those things you go downtown and you just run into things.
Right. It's like this is a building. And this
you have to go past you have to go past where usually when you do business downtown. Like,
I'm not trying to diss Georgia State, but Georgia State reminds me of a glorified community college where it's sort of like, oh, this used to be a business.
It sort of is, and this used to be a government building.
Right, and now we have classrooms here.
And
you too can learn how to be a dental assistant in 6 weeks.
it felt that way until they got it felt that way until they got a football team.
Gotcha.
Then they get a football team.
Yeah, and a basketball team.
Yeah,
and they're doing good.
It's hecka cool if you go downtown Atlanta during their homecoming, like when it's their homecoming weekend.
I'll have to check it out.
So
I can't honestly judge. I haven't really hung out there.
I could take you around campus sometime.
Cool.
So, with that is a chore to the world. Next, we're going to get into the NFL draft, how the Falcons did, and where did the Georgia Bulldogs or the Georgia Bulldogs that came out for the draft, where did they end up? All that and more. Well, the draft was this weekend, and now all the dust has settled, and it's over, and now people like me get to give their opinions. And I just want to first start off with, because we're getting to Falcons and Georgia. I'm not covering really Tech because right now a lot of Tech guys are actually just that played last year. None of them got drafted, but they're kind of in that undrafted free agent, trying to sign with teams and having tryouts with teams. That's what's going on with the in the Tech camp. But first, starting off with the Falcons, though, the paper from D. Orlando Ledbetter gave the Falcons a C-. So they barely passed the grade. Which I honestly, with this draft class, I would too. Because none of these guys really excite me. None of them stand off the page. Especially what they did in the first round. I get that you have needs on the offensive line. And you felt like you got those needs. But I felt like there were other players, especially with the 14th pick, that you could have got that would probably be better players overall. Now, if one of these guys like makes a Pro Bowl in the next 3 years, then that changes. That changes things a little bit. But Chris Lindstrom from Boston College, I hope he can turn out to the player that the Falcons somehow see in him. But just coming off the page, Boston College, the level of competition that they played, and that I don't even know if they had a winning record this year, because that's how far off Boston College. I mean, yeah, you have that's a program that's known in college football, but at the same time, like, they haven't really been relevant at all. Then you get Cade McGrary from Washington. Okay, that guy has been in the trenches. He had to play against that Auburn defensive line. So hopefully him being on that tackle spot, hopefully he can be good on that on the end of the line and protect Matt Ryan. Protect Matt Ryan. Why did I? Oh my gosh, that was rough. So I get that it's like you wanted to fill your needs in those positions. This really wasn't a draft of getting flashy players, and especially that this was a draft of getting a lot of linemen. But it's like the Falcons made a choice that makes me scratch my head. And hopefully, because I'm a glass half full type of guy, hopefully these picks can help Matt Ryan in protection, and that I might be too caught up on where these kids went to school. The one pick that stands out to me that I'm interested in is this kid, Kendall Sheffield out of Ohio State, who plays cornerback. That was another need by the Falcons, that they need more corners guys in the secondary. So this is I know he's played at Ohio State, so he's had to go up against Oklahoma receivers, and since Ohio State plays a lot of big non-conference games, so I know this guy's been in big games and everything like that. So hopefully that can translate over well to the NFL, and he could possibly be starting for the Falcons. So that's the one that really stands out for me. They drafted a defensive end out of Charleston, of all places. So hopefully he was one of the under the radar type of guys. I mean, like I said, guys, I am a glass half full, even though that it's like none of these draft picks really impress me that much. I don't know too much about the kid that came out of Pitt. Yeah, a lot of these guys pretty much, to me, and I'm pretty sure like to a lot of Falcons fans, or at least a lot of Falcons fans that pay attention to college football, like these are unknowns that we have. Guys that really didn't have to jump out of the page. Like we knew about Calvin Ridley last year. We knew what he could do because he played at Alabama. But all these guys have been out of our market and have to. I mean, I just put together this podcast. I don't do a lot of this research, but man, I'm pretty sure a lot of guys in this who are in depth in their analysis have had to dig pretty deep for a lot of these guys' highlights, and trying to find out about these players. So I totally agree with the C minus. Maybe some people, I'm pretty sure, are going to be a little bit harsher than the paper and probably think that this is a D minus type of grade for the Falcons. But like I said, I'm a glass half full type of guy, so hopefully the Falcons and Thomas Dimitroff are seeing something that we just don't see right now. On the other side, though, to flip the coin, in Athens, these past couple of days have been pretty exciting. You had DeAndre Baker that went in the first round to the Giants, which is probably the most underrated pick in the first round, maybe in the whole draft. Because of the Daniel Jones pick, DeAndre Baker's just flying under the radar into the New York market. So even Ab Stanley that we had on the show, he said he could possibly be the next Darrelle Revis. I don't know about that, but we'll see. I thought Malcolm Hardman going to going to Kansas City. I thought that was a pretty good pick for Kansas City, because it seems like they like to get these small athletic guys that can just when you get on the ball in space, they can just make plays on you. So I thought Hardman is gonna be good in Mikael Hardman. I think I said Malcolm Hardman. Mikael Hardman. Yeah, he's going to be good for Kansas City. Also, Ridley going to the Chicago Bears. I think that's a solid pickup. DeAndre Walker going to Tennessee Titans. Tennessee needs a lot of defensive players, a lot of edge rushers. They really get a lot of pressure up front. So I think he could possibly be a starter or a player that they rotate into that position. Lamont Gilliard went to Arizona in the 6th round. So he will be, he'll be protecting Kyler Murray. So you also have Isaac Nada, which some people thought Isaac probably wasn't going to get drafted at all. Isaac Nada went to the Lions, so he's going to be catching passes to Matt Stafford. And Terry Godwin got picked up in the 7th round with the Carolina Panthers. So I hope that Terry Godwin can get some playing time. But that pretty much that rounds it out of all the players for the Dogs that got picked. There were 7 players that went in the NFL draft. So all those juniors except for Holyfield got drafted. And I mean, I was just glad to see, because I mean, as a Georgia fan, I think a lot of people were glad to see that Terry Godwin got drafted. I mean, because we knew about Mikael Hardman. We knew that he was going to go somewhere in that 2 to 3 range. I think the same thing. I think we're a little surprised. I feel like I'm a little surprised that Ridley dropped so far, but at the same time, I guess because he wasn't targeted enough. If he caught more balls, if more balls were thrown to him, maybe he would have got into that 2nd round, that 3rd round, instead of having to go in the 4th round to Chicago. So, and maybe I guess too, so that's I guess Chicago too is getting a good impression on the Georgia Bulldog players wanting a guy, because they got Roquan Smith a couple years ago, so and they have Javon Wims. So I think the Chicago Bears, I think the Dogs have left a good impression on the Chicago Bears. But yeah, like I talked about, Jonathan Ledbetter and Elijah Holyfield were the only 2 guys that didn't get drafted. I know Saturday, Elijah Holyfield had to have been kicking himself that he left early to get into the NFL draft. But but I mean that's the decision you have to make, and now it's kind of uphill battle. I know that Elijah Holyfield is going to get a tryout and going to possibly sign with the Carolina Panthers, which I feel like that'd be good if he could make it through training camp, get on a Carolina roster, because he could potentially be a good 1-2 punch with McCafferty back there, but that's a lot of ifs right now, and I know, but I know a lot of Georgia people want to see him do well. They signed him, so Steve just gave me the word that they signed him on Saturday. So also too, Ledbetter signed with the Lions. So again, another Georgia connection up in Detroit, and we'll just see how their futures pan out. I wish them all good luck. I think a lot of these guys should have stayed for another year at least. I think Isaac Nada could have benefited from it. Vaquel didn't really have to stay. Maybe Riley Ridley would have benefited from staying, and yeah, definitely Elijah Holyfield would have definitely benefited from staying another year. But hey, who knows? I mean, Sam Bradford stayed, and he got injured. He injured his leg, and he was just never the same after that. I mean, he was guaranteed. I mean, he was guaranteed to be a number 1 pick back in the 2000. It would be the 2000. It was a 2009 season, so that would have been the 2009 draft. So, but you just never know. And I heard the reasoning behind Elijah Holyfield going was because there wasn't a lot of running backs that were going to be drafted. So he thought it was his opportunity to go. And unfortunately that happened. Well, that is our draft talk after all the dust has settled. Well, here is the end of the show for you. Appreciate you guys listening in, and appreciate Steve Choi joining me today. I had a real fun conversations with him about sports, Dubs, NASCAR. So appreciate him being on the show today, and this was recapping the weekend, guys. So this is our show that we try to do every Monday or Tuesday, depending on what the calendar looks like, because some days we don't do a podcast on Monday, but when we do, this is what our show is all about. So appreciate you guys stopping by. If you're stuck in traffic or doing lawn work, because I know the grass is greener and longer and probably needs to be trimmed. So we're all getting to that time of year. So appreciate you guys checking us out. I know that you could probably listen to Sports Talk Radio or some other sports podcasts, but we appreciate that you checked out the ATL box score today. And if you could do us a huge favor, like, subscribe, and comment, because that helps us out more than you know. So after you're listening, if you could like, subscribe, comment if you so dare, or please, we would appreciate that here. So with that being said, great weekend all around. I feel like the Braves yesterday, that one shining moment where Josh Donaldson hit that home run was the highlight and made their weekend, even though they lost 2 games to the Colorado Rockies. So good luck to the Atlanta Braves, about to go on the road this next weekend and finishing up this homestand. So with that being said, episode 52 is